and welcome to the CU Online podcast series, where we bring you insightful discussion on behavioral economics. This is Economics Unplugged, the podcast that explores the fascinating intersection of economic theories and human behavior. I am your host, Professor Ashish Kindra, Assistant Professor for ME Economics program at Chandigarh University CU Online. And today, we have a truly intriguing topic lined up. Joining us is a highly esteemed academician and researcher, Dr. Suman Luthra ma'am. Dr. Luthra ma'am is the head of Department of Economics at SAJAN PG College Ambala and an accomplished scholar with over 34 years of teaching experience. Her expertise in the economics, research, and curriculum development has shaped the academic landscape. And today, she is here to share her insights on the compelling subject, the psychonomics of ignoring and negligent behavior. Why do individuals, businesses, and even government tend to overlook the important issues? What economic and psychological factors drive the negligence, and how does it shape our world? Dr. Luthra ma'am is here to help us understanding this phenomena in depth. Dr. Suman Luthra ma'am, it's my absolute honor to have you with us. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Professor Ashish. And I'm really delighted to be part of this online CU podcast program and looking forward for an engaging section. Thank you so much.
So, let's get started with today's discussion, where we will discuss about the fascinating connection between the psychology and economics in understanding why people ignore the things and behave negligently. So, ma'am, my first question is, what is psychonomics of ignoring and negligent behavior means?
Yes, Professor Ashish. This seems to be a new topic, but not that new. And this is very dear to me. Even after 77 years of independence and with very high demographic dividend, India still is reeling under the pressures of poverty, inequality, malnutrition, unemployment, and lack of infrastructure. Now, given the size of the economy and huge population, the costs of development are exorbitant. And on top of that, we are adding to the woes. Now, today's discussion, I will try to focus on the micro to macro management of everyday simple activities that do not involve any extra cost or noticeable effort if the response is timely. Whereas the same may escalate to very high private and social costs if the action is not timely. Now, the whole idea is based on a simple saying that a stitch in time saves nine, that we all have heard, but we tend to ignore it easily.
Yeah.
So, today's talk actually an attempt to understand economics of psychology of ignoring and negligent behavior and its effects, both forward and backward. So, Ashish, every other day we hear of accidents and incidents due to failure of organizations and individuals to heed to early warnings or SOPs on safety regulations.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the causes of this careless and careless attitude they are present at all levels, be it individuals, society, or the government. The basic root cause behind this is chalta hai psychology.
Okay.
And actually, everyone's responsibility is no one's responsibility. So, the costs of ignoring are both real and monetary, and there is need to revisit this behavior, which needs a locking at the level of parents, schools, NGOs, and governments. The returns from not ignoring will manifest into private and social benefits. So, this all works like Nurse's circle, whether we look forward or dig deep backwards for its effects. So, my topic will be based on the causes, the consequences, and the measures of ignoring and negligent behavior.
Okay, ma'am.
Some of the cases from real life situations that I will be discussing during this talk will be like ignoring faded or fallen warning signs near rivers or near bridges, then ignoring standard operating procedures, or ignoring deceptive endorsements by the celebrities, or ignoring skills and indifferent sad behavior of a student in a class, और इग्नोरिंग इनोवेटिव आइडियाज वो कहते हैं ना आशीष कि लम्हों की खताओं से सदियों ने सजा पाई.
Very well said, ma'am. Even our decisions are often shaped by the invisible psychology and economic forces. So that's fascinating. It's interesting to see how our subconscious economic reasoning influence the choices we make, often leading to the negligence. So learners take note of how behavioral biases and cost benefit analysis shape the human decision making. It's a crucial aspect of both psychology and economics. So, ma'am, my next question is, your research work is commendable. What inspires you to research in this topic?
Ashish, actually, two incidents, they had a great impact on me. The Kedarnath tragedy and then the Byas River tragedy. The Uttarakhand floods of June 16, 2013, they are the tragic example of the ignoring early warnings about safety regulations. The disaster was result of unregulated development of hotel industries and other things in the area, ignoring the carrying capacity of Himalayas, the eco-sensitive zone. When this tragedy struck, this was actually a combination of human intervention and nature's response to that. The disaster resulted in over 6,000 deaths, and according to one World Bank report, the losses were equal to 3.8 billion US dollars. That was more than the state budget for that year. So now you can imagine the extent of the loss. On the eve of 11th anniversary of the tragic incident, we are the same again. And we have not learned from our past mistakes. So I don't know why we are not learning from our mistakes. Are we waiting for another Kedarnath? Now if you look back to the Bhopal gas tragedy of 1984, that was an example of avoiding, neglecting safety regulations continuously. And by 1984, the situation has worsened. And then when gas leaked around 1 a.m. in the morning, and the whole town, which was sleeping at that time, that inhaled that poisonous gas, and the whole city was full of dead bodies of men, women, children, animals, and birds. And even after 40 years, when we are on the eve of the 40th anniversary of that tragedy, it was measured that nearly 22,000 deaths occurred due to the exposure of that gas. And the compensation was announced later, which was 470 million US dollars. That was far below. And it was only 15% of the compensation that Government of India had asked for. And it came to be only approximately 1 lakh for the deceased and 25,000 for those who suffered lifelong injuries. The amount was far below the international compensation standards. In exchange for the payment, the Union Carbide was to be discharged of all civic liabilities and criminal cases against this. So this was another example. Now coming to another example is of 2008 financial crisis. Economists like Nouriel Roubini and Raghuram Rajan, they had already predicted that something serious was going to happen. But nobody took them seriously. In 2005, Raghuram Rajan delivered a paper entitled Has Financial Development Made the World Riskier? In it, he highlighted the growing risks in the financial market, especially US. Ashish, I would like to share some data with our listeners. The loss in US was approximately around $22.8 trillion, or we can say it was approximately $72,000 per American. About 2 crore people were affected directly or indirectly by the crisis. And British banks, they lost approximately 90 billion pounds in a single day. At that time, India was comparatively less exposed due to international linkages. The GDP fell from 9% to 7.8% in 2008, and nearly 12 billion worth of investments were withdrawn from the stock markets. So, this is alarming data. And my next case would be highlighting the ignoring of the content on social media we are consuming. I'll especially mention about the deceptive and the fake endorsements that our celebrities that are making these days. Name anything from cosmetics to mouth fresheners, from cars to creams. The celebrities, they are earning much more from these advertisements than they are earning from their routine endeavors. Now, the problem or the question is that by endorsing such products that they do not themselves are using, they are eroding not only the wealth, health of their fans, but also the faith. They are playing with the faith. And there are acts like Consumer Protection Act. As per those acts, if they are endorsing any product which is not actually having those qualities, they can be fined. They can be debarred from future advertisements, but nothing is happening. And the sad part is that the celebrities or sports person who are themselves on strict diet regime, they're endorsing those products like junk foods, chocolates, cold drinks. So, but why? Because we are consuming, we are worshipping them as our idols. So, why don't we stop consuming such content? I think if we consume such content, we are actually asking producers to produce more of such. Now, success of many such films in the recent times, I may name like Animal or many web series that shows that what content we are consuming, or are we ignoring what we are consuming.
Yes.
Ashish, our viewers must know that in India, the business of pan masala is of around 42,000 crores and is expected to rise to 53,000 crores by 2027. As per the reports of Health Department, nearly 270 million in India consume tobacco in one form or the other. Nearly 3,500 people die daily due to tobacco. There are hundreds of such cases. This is very sad. But I would like to mention three more recent cases.
Okay.
Now, we all know this Silkara tunnel crash that
Yep.
happened on 12th of November, I think, 2023. And this tunnel collapsed, and 41 persons were trapped inside it. And they were rescued 17 days after the collapse. Now, the director of the Uttarakhand Landslide Mitigation and Management Center said that there were gaps. There was no alarm system, and even the monitoring was not proper. However, National Highways Infrastructure Development Corporation refuted all these allegations, and they said that we don't agree with the findings.
Okay.
But somebody had to be responsible. It is no doubt that there were serious lapses. Some responsibilities or some standard operating procedures were no doubt ignored. There is another, I may say, interesting but again very sad case that appeared in a recent column in December in Management Funda. We all know N. Raghuram, who is a management guru. So he mentioned that Sanjay More, he had a flawless career of driving 6-meter long best buses. But in December 2024, he was given a 12-meter long electric bus to operate. Now, the time required for training before operating this bus was 6 weeks, as per the manufacturer. But he was given a 3 days training and he was given the bus. Fortunately, for first 6 to 7 days, nothing happened. But on the night of December 9, when he was driving this bus through narrow lanes of Mumbai-Kurla road, he ran over several vehicles and pedestrians, killing 7 people and injuring 42. Now, the funda is that SOPs should not be ignored. Now, one small mistake ruined the whole flawless career of a person. And now, the recent Delhi station incident that just happened on 15th of February. So, 18 people died while going to Prayagraj. Now, warnings at various levels were ignored. It may be individuals, it may be the officials or the government. I don't want to name, but something was ignored. We didn't pay attention to the warnings, to the announcements, or to the signs that this is not the entry point. So people were entering even from no entry zones.
Yes.
Last minute now announcements, they played their role. So all these are cases of ignoring the responsibilities, be it individual or be it a social level.
So, ma'am, you have given the very good examples that have recently occurred, and the great researcher often begins with a simple yet powerful observation. So, ma'am, my next question is, can you share some cases of ignored abilities or creative ideas?
The ideas, the inventions, which are at times considered indispensable or path-breaking, they actually initially meet with so much of rejection and skepticism that we cannot imagine. I will give you some examples, and the first example is very interesting. This is of a toothpaste factory, and what was happening is that they were facing a problem. They were getting complaints from their shopkeepers that they are getting empty boxes. Now, the CEO of the company, he called the meeting of the top management, and then they involved an external engineering company. So, after long discussions and spending 80 lakh rupees, they thought of placing a high precision scale along the packing line. And what it will do that whenever there will be a box that will weigh less than what it is, then it will sound a bell. Then operator or lineman will come, remove that box, and then the line will start again. So now everything became normal. No complaints were coming, and CEO was happy, company was happy. But one day when he was on his routine tour to the factory, then he found that along that packing line, just before that precision scale, there was a 500 rupees table fan which was running. And what it was doing, whenever there was an empty box coming on that packing line, the fan used to blow it into the dustbin.
Okay.
So curiously, he asked the manager, "What is it?" Then manager explained that, sir, the lineman, the operator, he was tired of removing the boxes from the line, going and then switching off and switching on the line. So what he did, he placed this fan. Now, whenever there is a box which is weighing less, this fan blows it off. Then the CEO realized that this was a very simple thing. If they had contacted the lineman or the operator in the factory, they could have saved their 80 lakh rupees. So that was a simple observation. Now, actually, this is such a system that normally we do not contact the persons who are at the lower level of the hierarchy. Whereas the problems they are facing, they have most, accurate solutions to those problems. Then there is one more example, that is of Kodak. Once leader in photography and filed for bankruptcy in 2012. One of its engineers, way back in 1975, he developed digital camera. But the top management was very skeptical of the idea and they rejected. And the rest is the history. Ashish, sometimes it takes not months or years, but a lifetime to get your ideas accepted. Can you imagine that someone gave his life just to make us understand the importance of hand washing? That is so routine for us these days. Now, Dr. Ignaz Semmelweis, a Hungarian physician, made this landmark discovery in way back 1846 or 1861 years about the germ theory and importance of hand washing. His ideas were met with ridicule and skepticism in the beginning. Dr. Semmelweis saved the lives of many mothers and newborns by insisting on hand washing in his maternity wards. But since he was not having any theoretical data in favor of his research, he was faced with so much of criticism that he lost his mental balance and he died in an asylum. Ashish, there is another very interesting example from sports field. In 1968 Mexico City Olympics, Dick Fosbury, he introduced a revolutionary high jump technique which changed the sport forever. Initially, he was struggling with the traditional high jump techniques like Caesars, then Western roll, and a straddle jump. But then he realized that these techniques were actually limiting his potential and he decided to jump on backward, arcing his back and clearing the bar headfirst. This method became to be known as Fosbury flip. Now, despite heavy criticism from the coaches, he perfected the technique and then he stunned the entire world by winning the gold medal and setting a new record. Now, within years, this flip became the standard technique in the high jump. So, this is how that he initially got rejected, but then he set a new record.
Very well explained, ma'am. Even every great idea was once an underdog, and until the world caught up. These stories truly highlight how groundbreaking ideas are often ignored before they revolutionize the industries and life. Whether it's a simple solution overlooked in a factory or revolutionary technique dismissed in the sports, history teaches us the importance of open mindedness and adaptability. So, ma'am, my next question is, there must be some example where people choose not to ignore.
Yes, आशीष, हमेशा सिर्फ अंधेरा ही नहीं होता, दिन के उजाले भी आते हैं. So we have some positive cases also where people chose not to ignore and respond timely. People's awareness and wrath against their ideas, they has led to some awakening in conscious study. And many of the celebrities like Ranbir Kapoor, Yash, Kartik Aaryan, they have turned down the offers of Pan Masala, and even Swara Bhaskar and Ranbir Kapoor, they rejected the offers of famous beauty products.
Very well explained, ma'am. These stories are truly inspiring, from medical breakthroughs to the environmental activism and ethical decisions in the entertainment industry. They showed that speaking up and taking action can create the lasting change. Even ma'am, I want to also add in it, like, change happens when people refuse to stay silent in the face of challenges.
Very true, Ashish.
So, ma'am, my next question is, what are the key psychological and economic drivers that lead to the individuals and organizations to overlook the critical issues?
Yes, you said it rightly, Ashish. The causes are both psychological as well as economic. As the first one is the mindset or the comfort of known. We don't want to go on the roads that are less traveled, So this is the first reason. Then there is another, that is bystander effect. Whenever we are part of a group, actually we think that somebody else will take care of the things or the circumstances. And then there is another situation where we think that so long as it is not in my backyard or is not affecting me, I should not be bothered about it.
Yes, ma'am.
And then there is problem with our education system also, where we do not encourage questions or queries. So this is a very sad part. And in organizations also, the culture is like nipping the questions or discouraging the questions or discouraging the queries of the staff. So there are problems at multiple levels. So starting from the education system to the organizations to the psychology to the discomforts of not knowing things. So there are problems at multiple levels.
Very well explained, ma'am. Understanding the biases help us to break the cycle of negligence. That makes a lot of sense. It's credible how factors like cognitive biases and economic trade-offs plays a role in shaping our actions. Learners, I encourage you to analyze how these influence affect your daily decisions and interactions. It's a vital skill for critical thinking. So, ma'am, awareness is the first step, but addressing the negligence requires a solution. So, what are the most effective psychological and economic strategies to combat the negligence, and how can individual, or we can say businesses and policymakers, that practically implement these solutions to foster the growth, responsibility, and awareness?
Yes, Ashish. By understanding the causes, I mentioned earlier, recognizing the costs and acknowledging the consequences, societies can take proactive steps to cultivate an environment that values creativity. Investing in education, fostering a culture of innovation, and supporting new ideas are essential to ensuring a vibrant and resilient future.
Yes, ma'am, you have explained it in a very well and organized manner. Solutions are only as effective as our willingness to implement them. So, those are some excellent recommendations. Implementing these strategies could significantly minimize the negligence and promote more responsible decision making. So, learners, let's reflect on these insights and consider how we can apply them in our lives and future's careers. So, Dr. Suman ma'am, your insights today have been incredibly thought provoking and enlightening. Your expertise in unraveling the complexity of negligence and decision making has truly enriched our understanding of this subject. On behalf of all our learners and listeners, I sincerely thank you for sharing your knowledge and research with us.
Thank you, Professor Ashish. And it was a wonderful discussion. And I thank you for this opportunity and hope that this will bring a change.
Definitely, ma'am. So, to all our learners, I hope this session has given you a deeper understanding of the factors that influencing the negligence and the ways we can address them. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and strive to make informed choices. Until next time, stay curious and engaged.